Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. Today we're going to take a look at Lando Calrissian in his skiff guard disguise, as released by Kenner back in 1983. Now this was a figure I had as a kid and I actually really loved it. It's a great sculpt, and I think it had the added advantage that it had a hat that you could take off to reveal Lando's face, because when I was a kid I didn't actually like I didn't like the look of this character, but with the hat on he looks excellent. So he always used to be played with like that. In recent years though, I've come to sort of really quite admire this figure because it's one that does have a really nice sculpt, and the sculpt of the hat is fantastic. There's an awful lot of detail in there. It's just a shame that they never bothered to paint it. It's just made out of a brown plastic. And the Lando figure itself, again, is really nicely detailed. The sort of detailing on the armour and the folds of fabric and that around his elbows and knees just looks excellent. It came with a force pike, which was a weapon that came with a couple of other figures. It came with Weequay and one of the Klaatu skiff guards. So it's a fairly common weapon to find. But overall, it is just a very nice figure. Here we have Lando on a Return of the Jedi card. You can get this on the Power of the Force cards as well, and also the Tri-Logo cards. It's not a particularly hard figure to find. This one didn't cost me that much. There's a slight bit of damage to the front of it, but to be honest, that doesn't bother me. I like having slightly worn cards because they're a bit cheaper to collect, and it's just nice to have a few in your collection. I do like the way this is packaged as well, because the helmet is packaged in its own little sort of tiny bit of a blister above the main blister where the figure is held, and it also shows quite a nice picture of Lando on the front. On the back, as per usual, this is a 77 card back, as you can see there, so it shows 77 figures. None of them are blacked out on this one, so it's quite clear what you're getting, and this is a pretty easy card to find. I always thought it was a shame that they didn't release that many other versions of Lando. Obviously you have the Best Bin version of Lando, which I have reviewed before. It's not my favourite of figures. I find this one particularly bad. I think the face is quite terrible on it. And then of course you have the general Lando. Again, this is a much harder figure to find because it's one of the last 17. As you can see here, this is my loose version. I don't have the cape and I don't actually have a weapon for this guy yet, but he still looks quite nice. The face mould, actually, if we take the hat off that guy, you can see the two together. I actually think the face on the skiff guard version looks better than the last 17 general Lando. And at some point, if I find another of these, I'm going to swap the heads over because I think that would actually make this figure look a lot nicer. It just would have been nice if they'd released another version of Lando. I'm sure, I can't actually think of any other outfits he's in, so maybe that's the reason they didn't do it, that there are only 3 versions of Lando that you ever see in the movie, but I'm sure there must have been some other costume that they could put him in. Anyway, overall, I do think this figure is a pretty nice one. It's a pretty easy figure to come by. Sometimes finding the hats and the weapons on these figures is a little bit harder, but actually this guy, because it was produced in such large numbers, is a particularly easy one to get. And he's obviously one that you have to have in your collection if you're going to get the whole set of them all. So definitely worth getting. Hope that's been of interest to you, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter and Facebook.